Today we witnessed the Battle of Bartella firsthand with the Golden Brigade, this elite unit within the Iraqi army. We were on a rooftop with the generals watching the battle. There was a lot of artillery, heavy gunfire coming from within the city, wounded soldiers as well. We saw one being evacuated in an armoured vehicle before he was transferred into an ambulance. He had a bullet in his arm. So indeed some very harsh fighting there, but eventually the Golden Division managed to liberate the city. That means they are now 6 to 7 kilometers from the outskirts of Mosul, and some of the officers were telling us that they believe they can enter the city of Mosul within the next 2 or 3 days. On the Peshmerga front, it's been slightly more difficult, including in the battle for the city of Karakosh. That's another key city on the road to Mosul. It was a majority Christian city before it was taken by IS. It's highly symbolic, of course, but they're facing heavy resistance from jihadists there and have not been able to actually take that city as of yet. It's also important to note that General al-Assadi, the head of the Golden Brigade, was telling us that he was getting a lot of intelligence from residents of Mosul who were pointing targets to the army. He was also telling us that that was extremely dangerous for them. One family was executed because the militants found a satellite phone in their apartment. We actually witnessed a phone call, one of these phone calls, where he was told that all the foreign jihadists had left the city, fled towards Syria on the last front, which is the humanitarian one. And indeed 1.8 million people are thought to be living in the city right now. Well, we did see some camps being built, but indeed the conditions there will no doubt be harsh if there is a massive exodus of Mosul.
Well, that fighting in outlying areas of Mosul has already forced almost 6,000 people to flee their homes. That's according to the International Organization for Migration. The UN's refugee agency says that 900 families have taken shelter in just one reception centre in the village of Al-Houd. NGOs fear that up to 1 million people could be displaced by this battle. For more, we can speak to Abu Shah, the emergency coordinator for the NGO Médecins Sans Frontières, who joins us now live from the city of Erbil. Mr. Shah, thank you very much for being with us here on France 24 this morning. Can you first of all paint us a picture of what the situation is like on the ground there for civilians?
Thank you. For us at Médecins Sans Frontières, we are working in different camps that exist already around the city of Mosul. There is already big numbers of displaced people that are living in a situation that is far from being optimal. People are suffering from a lack of access to healthcare, in addition to the burden of displacement and the emotional burden that they carry, and psychological problems from the war and the displacement.
The United Nations estimates that up to 1 million people could be forced from their homes during this battle to retake the city. What's been put in place to help those people?
In addition to the already existing programs that we have in the camps and in the villages that are hosting displaced people from Mosul and around Mosul, we have already preparing teams on the ground and sending medical supplies to be and preparing for any possible scenario with displacement or other needs.
And if you had one message to give to the international community this Friday, what would that be?
I would say that already in Iraq there is more than 2 million or 3 million of displaced people that are already suffering from the consequences of war. This campaign will increase this number. Whatever the scenario is, the population will suffer, and all what we can do is to help with this and assist medically the population suffering.
Mr. Shah, the fighting around Mosul has been going on now for several days. What have people that have already fled that violence been telling you?
The people who have fled are in extreme I would say fatigue. They are already suffering from lack of access of healthcare. To add to it the road of displacement that is very difficult, and then arriving to a situation that maybe is safer, but the life is more difficult. We see people who are newly displaced or displaced from 1 year from the situation around Mosul. Some people are somehow in a loss of hope for the future. Some people are more optimistic. So it depends, yes.